क्लास 5 साइंस के पहला चैप्टर जो रह गया उसकी रीडिंग। Flower A. An insect visits a flower for its sweet nectar. The flower attracts the insect with its colorful petals or pleasant scent. When the insect tries to obtain the nectar, some of the pollen from the flower gets stuck onto the insect's body. The insect covered in pollen visits another flower to obtain more nectar. The pollen on its body will then be transferred to the stigma of the new flower. Pollination has taken place. Pollination that happens between flowers from different plants of the same species is called cross-pollination. Pollination that happens within the same flower or different flowers within the same plant is called self-pollination. Cross-pollination is important as it helps produce better quality plants, flowers, fruits, and seeds. Why do some male and female reproductive organs in flowers mature at different times? To find out more, visit Internet link 1.1. Cross-pollination mostly happens when insects go from flower to flower on different plants. Fertilization. Fertilization is the fusing of a male reproductive part with a female reproductive part. The pollen grain releases a tube downwards, pollen tube, ovule, stigma, ovary. The male reproductive part will help to make fertilization happen. Once a pollen grain lands on the stigma of another flower of the same species, it sends out a tube into the stigma, down the style to the ovule found in the ovary. The tip of the pollen tube breaks open, after which the male reproductive part will fuse with the female reproductive part. This is where fertilization occurs. Once fertilization has taken place, the ovule develops into a seed and the ovary into a fruit. Egg cell will develop into plant embryo, ovule will develop into seed, ovary will develop into fruit. Flower petals start to wither, the ovary begins to swell, the fruit grows bigger. Seeds develop inside the fruit. How a fruit forms from a flower on a tomato plant. What is seed dispersal? It is important for fruits and seeds to be scattered in different directions far away from the parent plants. This is known as dispersal. Dispersal ensures the young plants that grow from the seeds will not compete with the parent plant and one another for sunlight, water, nutrients, and space. Without seed dispersal, young plants have to fight for more sunlight, water, and space. Plants are not able to move from one place to another on their own. How do you think they can disperse their seeds? What's this? It looks like a seed with wings. Hey, these look like seeds too. They are hooked onto my shirt. I don't see any plants around. How did these seeds get here? Fruits and seeds can generally be dispersed by wind, water, explosive action, splitting, or animals. Dispersal by wind. Seeds dispersed by wind are generally small and light. Some of these seeds have special wing-like structures that help the seeds to keep afloat in the air longer. This carries them farther away from the parent plant. Angsana, African tulip, maple seed. Angsana. The wing-like structures of the seeds allow them to float and glide through the air. Some seeds dispersed by wind do not have wing-like structures. Instead, they have hairs that help them stay afloat. Dandelions, lalang. These seeds are very light and have hairs to help them travel long distances when the wind blows. Dispersal by water. The fruits of most plants dispersed by water float on water and have a waterproof covering. These fruits also have fibrous husks which can trap air that enable them to stay afloat on water. The flowing water then carries the fruit far away from the parent plant. Coconut, nipa, pong pong. Such seeds can travel long and far, sometimes even crossing entire oceans. Mangrove seeds begin germinating while still on the parent plant. They drop into the ocean when they are about a foot long and float upright, waiting to be flung onto the beach to continue germinating. Upright mangrove seedlings waiting to be flung onto the beach. Dispersal by explosive action or splitting. Fruits that disperse their seeds by explosive action or splitting usually have pods or capsules. These pods dry up when ripe, causing them to crack unevenly and split open with a force to throw the seeds away from the parent plant. The pea pod splits open with a force, causing the seeds to be thrown out. The dried up pod of the lady's finger splits open with a force to throw the seeds out. The fruit of the rubber tree dries up and splits open with a force to throw the seeds out. Dispersal by animals. Some plants rely on animals to help disperse their seeds. Plants with fleshy and edible fruits with tiny seeds are eaten by animals such as birds and mammals. These fruits, when ripe, are usually brightly colored to attract animals. The tiny seeds are swallowed and then passed out unharmed by the animals away from the parent plant. Fruits are usually brightly colored and juicy to encourage animals to eat them and disperse their seeds. Some animals collect fruits or seeds and bury them in places far away from the parent plants to eat later. These buried seeds are sometimes forgotten and germinate in their new location. Some seeds are buried by animals such as squirrels and sometimes forgotten, thus being able to germinate. Large seeds of fleshy fruits are sometimes too large to be swallowed. They are discarded by the animals that eat the fruits. This helps the seeds to be scattered away from their parents. Larger seeds are able to germinate in their new location when they are dropped on the ground by animals or humans. Some seeds have hooks, spines, or stiff hairs that can easily get caught in the fur or feathers of passing animals. These seeds fall off when the animals accidentally brush against a surface such as a bush. By then, the seeds have already been carried some distance from their parents. With the right conditions, these seeds will germinate into new plants. Burdock, hooked seeds caught on horse's hair. Sea holly. These seeds attract themselves to an animal's fur or feathers, allowing them to be carried for some distance. Go to the supermarket with a parent and observe some of the fruits, vegetables, and nuts such as oranges, watermelons, coconuts, and peas. Can you guess their dispersal methods? Can you find many examples of seeds and their various methods of dispersal at Internet link 1.2? Look at the picture on page 1 again. How do you think the seeds from the trees in Rita's garden are dispersed? Growing seedless fruits. Seeds play a very important role in the reproduction of plants. However, seeds in some fruits such as grapes or oranges can be a nuisance to us. They may taste bitter when we chew them, or we may swallow them accidentally. The solution: seedless fruits. Seedless fruits such as oranges, watermelon, and grapes have been cultivated for many years and are very popular. Seedless fruits are developed in two ways. The first method is when the male and female parts do not fuse together. This is known as parthenocarpy. The second method is called stenospermocarpy. This happens when pollination causes fruit development to happen, but without seeds. Thousands of seedlings are studied to find the ones with desirable characteristics. Many rounds of cross-pollination are monitored and planned to get the plants to produce fruits that are larger, sweeter, and juicier.